නිවේදනය අනු කලාවක්. ඒ කලාවේ විවිධ පැතිකඩයන් තිබෙනවා. ඒ හැම පැතිකඩක්ම එක ලෙස ජයගන්නට ඉතාමත්මා සීරුයි. නමුත් අද අපි මේ කතා කරන්නට යන පුද්ගලයා ඒ නිවේදන කලාවේ විශේෂයෙන්ම ඉංග්‍රීසි නිවේදන කලාවේ හැම පැතිකඩයක්ම ජයගත් කෙනෙක්. ඔහු ශ්‍රී ලංකාවේ ඉංග්‍රීසි නිවේදනයේ එම නැත්තම් ඉංග්‍රීසි ඉදිරිපත් කිරීම් කලාවේ කිරුල බලන් රජු ලෙස නම් කරන්නට පුළුවන්. අද ලෙජන්ඩ් සමගින් කතාබහ ෆයිසල් බොන්සෝ සමගින්.
Today we have one of our greatest entertainers, comparers, presenters in Sri Lanka, one of the best presenters, Mr. Faizal Bongso, with another episode of our Legends program. Today, I don't want to have a traditional interview, to be honest. I want to talk more about the industry, the future, the current situation and everything from a Legends perspective, because I think we have done a lot of interviews.
Very honestly, Shankar, I think I don't like this very staccato, very stiff interviews. I mean, times have changed. Well, forget about the age. Age is only a number. But people have to, evolve. You have to change. So make it free and easy, as I am very much at ease.
Thank you very much. So welcome to the show.
Thank you.
First, I think even though this is not going to be a traditional interview, I want to start off with a basic question. Like, how did all this start? Like, how did you came into the industry? When was this? And let's have a start.
Well, very honestly, you're aware that I'm an Isipatanian and a Wesleyite. Well, at Isipatana, when I actually just showed that I had this talent, they actually picked me and another boy. We were supposed to be equally good. So they used to send us for these oratorical competitions. Back then, Shankar, it was a very artificial style of, competitions and presentations. I remember those days, if you didn't have an elocuted style of talking, you're not going to be a winner. And then you also had to memorize your speeches. I mean, that's the worst thing when you compare it with today's context. I don't think I'll ever advise anybody to memorize a speech. It has to be spontaneous, ad hoc speeches. That's how impromptu speeches should be the case. But anyway, I took part, I remember, in my first competition. It was at a school in Vallavata called St. Clair's. And I went there. It was a 5-minute speech. And midway, I think after about 2.5 minutes, I had a mental block and I just couldn't complete it. I smiled and I walked off. But then I had the opportunity of watching the others, perform. And I thought the girl who was from that school itself was definitely going to be the winner, because she had a very elocuted style of talking and she remembered her words perfectly because she had memorized it so well. So, it's funny that after that was the beginning. And and this is a message I like to convey to everybody. That very same girl, I met her about 2 years ago at a dinner dance I was comparing. And she asked me, Faisal, can you remember me? I said, no, it's been very many years ago when you were in grade 10 and I was also in grade 10. I was in another school. And you remember this competition where you forgot the speech and I won the competition. Then I remembered. Then I said, yes, I remember. So she said, Faisal, but here I am no more in the field, whereas you are, above in the field, or right above. Well, it doesn't really make any difference. But just that I felt that these people who are artificial and who don't have the natural style, please stop the artificiality, be natural, and sky's the limit for you.
I see. So, how important, like, we know that you have that kind of a natural style and others in the field have their own styles as well. But no matter how much of a natural style we have, people, when they are organizing some kind of an event, they still prefer that kind of an artificial style, that they want that kind of a presentation in a very, in a very common way. but they don't want to bring the presenter's perspective and presenter's naturalistic way to that event.
Well, I'm being very honest, Shankar. I'm being very lucky. Uh, all the events I've compared, they've always given me the opportunity to make it natural as possible, especially dinner dancers. I have changed the style. I'm not going to divulge my style because we have in Sri Lanka a lot of people who actually try to imitate another person. And they invariably, it's so unhealthy, the competition here, is that they would try to cut you and try to go above you by following my style. I know I've seen people hiding behind doors at hotels. I've been informed by people that they are watching me behind, and then they go out and perform like me. Fair, it's okay, but don't. Why don't you have your own style? Be your own person. Have your own identity. That's what is important.
So, if I have ask you a extended question from that, even though that people want that kind of a natural style, still in school competitions and everything, they still have that common style. How should we change that?
We have to change it. Very good question, Shankar, because I have been judges at all these competitions. I don't really care if these people like Anand College are watching. They are the worst offenders. Their media unit is badly influenced. You know very well, you also under training at ITN. I have been a newscaster for over 30 years, voiced, I think, over about 10,000 documentaries in my life. Can you believe it that they have the competitions for news reading plus documentaries? What is that? It's the same thing, just that the client, if he wants a documentary voiced, he will want it voiced, either slow or fast or with a punch, depending on what the product it is. So this is something that these people don't know. Somebody has to educate them. I tried to educate them, but they don't want to listen. So if they don't want to listen, that is it. But I think most of the other schools have now followed suit. And people like Royal College, excellent, when I gave them the idea of not having this documentary reading for the news reading competitions. Yes, they did away. But because for a competition like that, all you got to judge is their news reading, where maybe a presentation of program, a live presentation. Think of a incident like a bomb blast or a major fire, then you can judge. That's good enough. And when you're talking about unnatural, that's what I meant. They tend to speak with a foreign accent, right? And when they over accentuate, then it's very artificial. So that's the bad thing. We have to change it. If I'm the judge, I never give them marks. I am proud and privileged that I have been the judge at the all island inter-university competition, government and private universities, and that's the best, the cream. And there, we see the best. Like I remember this year, the winner was a medical student from Sri Jayawardhanapura University. The second was from, if I remember, Colombo University. And the joint third place was from also two medical students, one from Jayawardhanapura University and the other from Peradin University. And they were from, uh, students from Museus, from Sirimavo, then from DS Senanayaka, Zahira College. It was very encouraging to see all that.
When it comes to other styles apart from presenting live, such as documentaries and news reading, what kind of a difference that you see, and what kind of a difference that you want your students to understand? Okay, this style is this style is this.
The main thing I think, Shankar, is having clarity. And as you said, not being artificial. You give out the natural style. Well, it has to be very clear. Well, it doesn't have to be artificial. Then you can't understand. And I think when we started reading news, it was like the blind leading the blind. The person who taught me on television thought that that person knew it all, but was actually someone who didn't know, but just blindly teaching us, well, this is how you read. And that was very unnatural. But as I went on reading, I've been reading for 30 odd years, I felt no, this is the way you should be reading. Like, for instance, when we read many years ago, it's like, say, for instance, US President Joe Biden visited Sri Lanka this morning. That's the way we read those days. But at present, it's more a natural style on television. US President Joe Biden visited Sri Lanka this morning. It's more natural. So I think that's the style that should be adopted. That's the style that we should have been taught. But then, well, we were unlucky, but people like you all are lucky. You all get directed now.
When you see today's media, do you see that style being adapted successfully in?
Very much, very much. And some of the private stations are amazing. They're really good. And we have to give credit to them. Even the radio stations, Shankar, this is a station I started off, Radio Sri Lanka. But said, I was interviewed just a couple of days ago, and that was a comment I made saying that, we cannot compete with private stations because our station is really way behind. And, we were the number one because we were the only station at that time, and we actually were able to compete with even the new private stations that came in. But as it went on, for our bad luck, we had a director general who came in at that time who had his way of thinking. If you want to get popular, you need to have play popular music. What's popular right now? Because then you get the listenership. And moreover, you have to speak to them very live. Like, for example, good morning. This is the morning show. I hope you're, feeling bright and breezy because we are ready to make this a bright and breezy day for you. We've selected the best music for you. So enjoy the lovely music that I've selected for you. Make it bright and breezy. But instead, the day I was interviewed just a few days ago, I imitated that boy. This is the radio station. Welcome to the Ruse. And half dead. I said, this is not what we need. We need someone bright and breezy to announce. And that girl who interviewed me agreed. Because that girl is very good. But then there's certain what you can tell people, no, this is a bad, again, Shankar selection. That's very bad. You have to select the best. Look at the private stations. I mean, I never listened to the station that I started off because it's pointless. All those announcers are like real did pans. But I listen to all the private radios. And my radio is tuned into one of the private stations.
So is it because that they are fear of taking a risk like that, or are they like refusing to change their styles?
No, they are not made for that. They are not made for announcing. They are made for something else. But
I mean the stations, like in the government stations and the private stations. What?
No, actually, to be very honest, the present government station like Radio Sri Lanka, the high authorities, nothing has to be said about them. They are amazing. I mean, from the chairman downwards, they are very nice. They have given you the liberty to be what you are, unlike when we were there. I mean, those days, Shankar, if we were to make a mistake, they will find fault with you. Or they would actually say, oh, this Faizal Bongso has a very poor vocabulary. He's saying the same words. For no reason, they try to bring your morale down. But now it's a different scene. Nobody says anything. They would like you to shine. I mean, it's a superb setup now. But for some reason, the talent they take in is really bad. Whereas the private stations are superb. You have to. I blame the person who is selecting. I blame that lady. She is not making good selections. If you select people who are bright and breezy, sky's the limit. You can go up. Because if you see, just because you know that person, you should take people on your connections. If they're not fit, they're not fit. They don't come in. Because here we need to build up our station.
Apart from the clarity and apart from the opportunities that you have seen back in the day and now, what kind of other differences that you see in the industry? Like what kind of, we have much more events now. We have dinner dances and we have other events that are coming to Sri Lanka as new themed events such as like that. So what else do you see in the industry that has changed?
I see a lot of development, tremendous development, and a lot of exposure. people should grab that opportunity because sky is the limit. A lot of comparing assignments. You should try it. There again, I feel some of them are misfits. So we need to get the best into these programs and shows because then we can actually see a lot of lovely performances. I think that has to change. You're right, because we have a lot of opportunities today, unlike in the past. But I would say, if I just look at it right now, we had more events like dinner dances compared to the present moment because of the financial aspect. I don't think we have the required finances to do a lot of events. Because no one wants to do something at a loss. I'll be very honest. My own school that I studied rather, my first school that you studied, for some reason they organized an event which was to be held in November. Very, very unprofessional. They booked the bands, they booked me to compere, but then they suddenly called it off. I think that's bad management. You should first make sure whether you have the sponsors, have everything, and then continue with whatever event you have. Because I know I did an amazing event at Shangri-La. I know this is what my first school always gets angry with me because I speak out. They have to know where they stand. My second school, I studied, they organized a 150th anniversary dinner dance well ahead a year ago. They booked me, they booked the bands, and it was Shankar a tremendous success because good organizing. You chose today, you can't book people, and actually they made me lose another opportunity. I lost another top dinner dance on that particular day because of that. But when I asked that old boy of the school, no, Faizal, it's happening, don't worry. We have already booked the hotel. All rubbish. So it's sad. People, actually, whoever you're organizing an event, make sure that you are positive. You have got the sponsors, you have got everything ready. Because these bands now have a very low opinion about my first school. Because they feel that we don't organize things properly and we are not ready for an event without proper organizing.
So apart from that, like you have compared in these events abroad as well.
Definitely, yes.
You have gone around the world. You have seen that stuff that we don't have yet in Sri Lanka. What kind of events that you think that should come to Sri Lanka and suit our audiences here?
But very honestly, all our shows in Sri Lanka, whether people like it or not, are better than the shows I've done overseas. We are streets ahead here in Sri Lanka. We do a fantastic job. I can tell you, I recently did a digital hospitality event, right, for a well known company in Sri Lanka at the Shangri-La. That was amazing, Shankar. I don't think I've ever seen an event so well organized. Whoever these event management companies have to come look at these events and see how it's done. And mind you, it was done all by the company itself, right? They only outsourced and got another event manager to get the LEDs and the rest of it. But the company themselves did it. And because it was highly high tech thing, all scripted, got the compere down, well, copy you. They told me, copy you can change as you want to, but please stick to the subject matter. Because let's face it, whomever they are hiring, me or for anybody else, we don't know the subject matter. So we have to get their directions. But with our experience, we can adlib and say the various things.
One thing that you have mentioned, I think, which is highly important, is the scripting part. Because most of the times when you're organizing something, we say, okay, let's go with the flow. Let's have this and that, and let's let the thing flow. But how important is scripting for
I
you?
think scripting is very important. Very, very important. I did an event even last night, a launch of a new logo, two new logos, and a new name for the company. It was a major event at ITC, and you won't believe it was so very professional, Shanga. Like, they came to my place 2 days ago. We discussed, and actually they actually took the recording of all I had to say, and they put it on paper. They put it on paper and made me deliver exactly how they wanted it. It was amazing, well scripted, and nothing went wrong, Sanga. It was superb. And at the end, the chairman and the managing director were so happy because, let's face it, it's the compeers don't know the subject matter because it is very technical. So when it's scripted, it's not. It doesn't make it stiff. It's up to the compeer to not make it stiff. You need to make it as though it's coming naturally from you.
So that's one thing that I want to touch upon as well. This experience and the ability to present any kind of a script in the most naturalistic way. I think that is something that we should really practice and gain that experience. How do you think that the best way for any kind of a newcomer to the industry to gain this kind of ability?
Well, I think they have to have a look at seniors. Don't follow them. Have your own identity, but have an idea of what is really needed. Because what happens to some people, Sanka, they think they know it all, and then they don't want to at least get advice from the seniors. They think they've developed this all on their own, and they have got this. So that's the best thing to do for a newcomer. Because I remember when I first had to compare an event. I remember I told my brother, I have to compare dinner dance. I've never seen what a dinner dance is like. Can you take me? Then he said, okay, I'll take you for the dinner dance. And I sat in the audience with a massive crowd and I watched the compere. Well, those days, the compeers were not actually professional compeers. They were like people in the music field, someone who was, probably good in his English, whom they got. It's today that we have real professional compeers. And the moment I saw him, I thought to myself, hey, I can do better than him. He doesn't have that style that I think should be there. And then, well, that was my beginning. And there was where I rose.
I see. So one thing that I also want to discuss with you is how easy is to survive in this industry, because this is something that is not stable as it seems for some people. And unless otherwise you are doing a full-time job in a corporate in a company, if you are doing freelance jobs and if you are being a freelance presenter and everything, what kind of a process is there? How do you manage this?
Very honestly, I did not do this full time as a compere, but the finances were huge, right? But I was a director of the firm, and then when I decided that I couldn't cope up with both my work in office and my comparing, I decided to say it's time up to quit. And when I quit, I remember a lot of people, especially a very close friend of mine, said, "What are you doing? You're leaving a very secure job and you're going into this full time." Now I think I had no regrets because this brought in the much needed income, which I thought even if my company paid me this amount for one whole year, I earned that and I earned that amount in 1 month. So it was a utter waste staying there. And I know today there are a couple of compeers, I think it was one or two, who do this full time. But I would say, no, don't do it full time. You have to have a secure job and do this part time till you really establish yourself, son. You have to establish yourself, Shanga. If you establish yourself, then, well, comparing is the thing.
And also, when it comes to selecting everything, we started off the discussion with that how to select a person, how to select the best talent in order to take the industry forward. What do you look at when you are selecting a person? What are the styles, or what are the things apart from the accent and vocabulary? What are the things that you want the presenter to have?
First and foremost, the presenter should have a good personality. If he or she does not have the good personality, where you can, impress the audience looking at you, then I say sorry.com. You don't. You have to have that personality because personality is not good looks. It's a fairly okay presentation, good voice, good style of speaking, not having that big cocky style, you know it all. but just being very friendly, having that rapport with the audience. That's the most important thing.
How can you build that kind of a rapport? Like, what is the most thing? Like, we say we have to practice it, but we can't prepare
Very
ourselves for
honestly, no, Shankar, I remember watching y'all. To be very honest, that was one of the best media day competitions I've ever witnessed. Many, many years ago, you and another person were compeers, right? You know, you all won my heart. I mean, I was a professional compeer, but the way you all spoke to the audience, the way you all got us involved, now that is the style. It can't come artificially. It has to come from you. You all were born with that. It was so good. I remember that incident. This will never be erased in my life. We had a singer news leaders competition. Correct me if I'm wrong, right? And there was I'm not a good judge at singer and news reading, and we had to select the winner between these two girls, one from Colombo, one from I think Anuradhapura, and the other judge was a well-known Sinhala media personality, and so you all decided that you all get both of us to judge, and excuse me. So when we were judging, we had decided. He decided on one winner. I remember the girl from Colombo. I said, no, the girl from Anuradhapura. And then they asked us why. And then he gave reasons. I gave my reasons. And then I remember asking the audience, if you don't know whether you remember, isn't what I said right? And shouldn't it be so and so? Because she's natural, the girl from Anuradhapura. The girl from Colombo has a artificial style, like reciting a poem when she was reading the news. And you remember all shouted and said, no, this girl should be the winner. And that other judge got very angry. He got angry because that I think is unbecoming. You have to accept the majority must be agreeable to our judging. Our judgment must be liked by everybody, not only myself. And everybody agreed, even if I was not good in my Sinhala and as good as that other judge, the entire audience was able to understand. And then I think even you all agreed, and then that person won.
When you're like, let's apart from the industry, let's go back to some go along the memory lane. And if I ask you what were the best memories you have when you started reading news and you started presenting itself on live events, some of the memories that you can
Well, there were lots of good ones. Maybe on my program of Ayubovan, it was directed by a wonderful director, Janaka Malimarachi. He was there. He was one person who actually, I got very popular because of him. He gave me the opportunity. Well, the time I was there, television was very competitive. You know, it's only if you were having the right context to get in. But here, I never had any context, but he liked me as a presenter. And I remember he got me in. And the unforgettable moment is that there was a singer called GSB Rani Pereira. She's no more. And she was a very popular singer then. But people didn't know that she had changed her name because she was actually from the Muslim community, the Malay community. And then when we started talking in Malay, the director was so happy and he went on, I had my earphone. He said, Faizal, don't stop, go on talking in Malay. So we were having the conversation for about 10 minutes in Malay and we started getting calls and considered to be one of the best programs. And it's yet in the library at Rupavahi. So that is, I suppose, the unforgettable moment on television. Bad moments are the first bulletin in my life when I thought I was almost falling off my chair because, as I told you, then it was very difficult to exist because the moment you make a mistake, you'll be thrown off. I was very nervous, thinking that if I flop, I will never be able to read continuously. But the rest, my good moments in comparing international shows has been special moments.
So when it comes to like, you have been doing this for almost 3 decades now, over
Four
3 decades,
decades.
4 decades now. My goodness, that's a long time. So what motivates you to do this? Like do be this kind of a presenter and bring that life into what motivates you?
But the thing that motivates me right now are my two children because they're also in the same field, and it really inspires me. And think, oh my God, they my dream come true. They also compete with me, and I compete a lot of shows with my daughter, and that really inspires me to see my daughter having her own style, me having my style. And the last graduation I compared, actually, those people don't tell me, but I know for myself I didn't fare well that day, son. Shankar, I didn't do well. I think I was getting messed up with my words, not saying what I really had to say. Whereas, my daughter, I always read the younger generation, y'all are smarter than us. Y'all, for that is why the legends, as your program indicates, and it's titled Legends, we legends, please, to all the legends who are listening, don't think that you are the best. This is the wrong notion our legends have. They don't understand that the younger generation are smarter than us because you all have more exposure than us. We never had exposure. So face it, we are not as good as the younger generation. Simple as that. But we can share our experiences with you all, which you all can, we can help you to do better.
Like and also most of the youngsters in my generation thinks that okay, coming and risking it all by coming as a full-time presenter is the most important thing to be successful in this industry. But how important is it to have a very balanced life and work, like how to balance this life and the work that you if you are a full-time presenter, like how do you do that? What is the secret behind it, and how to successfully master that kind of a lifestyle?
You mean in general your entire lifestyle, right?
No, as a presenter, a full-time presenter who's risking it or who's trying to make it in the industry but not having a secure job.
Well, very sensitive. I would say your beginnings are always not good. It's a rough road you are going to travel on because you're in for criticism. It's very insecure till you really establish yourself. After you're established, then it's fine. But till you're established, I don't think you should take this very, very seriously.
And also when we talk about the support that we need in order to thrive in this industry, like people think okay, I can make it on my own, but this is an industry that you have to have some sort of contact and some you have to have your rapport build up in order to gain more events and everything. What kind of support that you should be looking for in order to become good in this industry?
First and foremost, very good question you asked me because in Sri Lanka, some people have the right contacts, right? And with those right contacts, whether you're good or bad, you are getting events. And when after some time, those people get just brushed off, they're just thrown out. But I think very important is that you market yourself well. I think if you are a good marketer, you market your brand, definitely you will be able to be in the industry. That's sustenance.
uh, if you if you can like tell us who are the people that supported you in this industry, like from the beginning. There were many, I'm sure that there are so many people during these 4 decades that you have helped you to gain the spotlight and to gain successful in this success in this industry. If you
Another good question. The first person is Almighty God because that's Almighty Allah because He's the one who yet opens the doors to a lot of people, opens their eyes to see me perform. At my age, I yet do many shows as much as the youngsters do. But I think the first person who gave me the opening was a person who is no more. He was a director of Rupavahini, Mr. Anis. He's the one who gave me the first opening. I got in. My first chairman of Rupavahini called Mr. M.J. Pereira. When I was trying to be trampled and trying to be thrown off by my senior readers, Shankar, I would like to share this with everybody. The life I went through, it was so tough, Shankar. This was the worst life I don't think anyone has gone through what I have gone through. There's been so much of undercutting, you know. At one stage, I left it to God, save me, because, they never wanted us to stay on. They wanted us to just leave. And, Shankar, if you don't have the right contacts, it's a good question you asked me. If you had the right contact, if you didn't have the right contacts, you couldn't stay then. But now it's on talent, purely on talent. But then, now, of course, there's a little bit of contact issue, like I said, also, but a lot of talent. But then talent was immaterial. If I was a person considered to be, I mean, I do all the top shows here and overseas, but there was one lady who was the controller of radio at that time because she didn't like me. I was not in her so-called clique. She never gave me the stereo channel, stereo just introduced at that time. She considered me not a stereo voice. But I'm only thing, the Dhammapada says, no, hatred never ceases with hatred in this world. Through love and kindness, it all comes to an end. I have actually decided that there are times you have to tell people off. And I got that opportunity when I was doing a major show. I told her, you did this to me, but where am I and where are you? I just had to tell her. People have to be told when they are, vicious and try to trample you, you have to tell them, son. And I am very lucky. I've got that opportunity. God has given me that opportunity to tell people off, don't do this. And I will never allow any of the younger generation to be trampled. I don't know, I think my students, I have my own academy, they consider me one of the best teachers because, you have been one of my students. I love to be very friendly. And I always teach my students, look here, I went through that same situation. I didn't know this word. I didn't know that word. But look at the teachers today. There's no proper rapport with the student. No, they think they know it all. They don't want to teach that child. They think that, they name it as they came into school. This is something which I consider the most selfish behavior ever. Teachers have to wake up. No matter what, they have to be nice to their children. Because I think it's the children, they are the ones of the future. So you teach your children well, and you can be, at some stage, I can sit back, relax, and watch my children perform. And that's what I love, watching you all perform. That's something I gain.
Well, apart from that, what kind of industry changes that you are willing to see going forward?
Well, as you see, we've already seen the changes coming with new YouTube and all these, with social media coming in. A lot of people, I think, are more into social media today. Well, I think with social media coming, I think our people should also be prepared for the next level. I don't know what is coming in next, but I think like for instance shows and all that, I think it's a different level. We can't change the events that are coming. I mean, all the events cannot. Everything we have, the latest technology, the LED screens and the lights that are coming. Something I noticed, Shankar, last night at this event. The event managers, they get their total priorities mixed up. We have gone for a launch of a new logo and a product. Can you believe the lights are focused on the dancers and not on the product and what is to be launched? Until I told them, they had no answer. And mind you, I had to read about 5 pages written stuff of all these products. And this is not my product. I have to read while the product is being revealed. So can you believe there was no light on the podium? I had to force them to put the light. So imagine I speak rubbish, the people will laugh and that is what is important. So that's something our people must change. However, I would like to see that addressed, and our people have to get their priorities not mixed up, because they're getting their priorities mixed up, and too much of this and stuff that are outdated. Son, they have these light shows. Like light shows are all old stuff. What are light shows? Do you need light shows today? All that is, we must step up, I think, a bit. I mean, I may be much older to you. I'm like your father, but we need to step up, son. We need to step up. We can't be old fashioned. I mean, I want to evolve. I'm evolving. And, I'm quite extremely proud that at my college dinner dance, see the way they have developed, I'll tell you, they took all my advice. Their opening was a lovely on an LED screen, right? They had a lovely theme song. Then with the theme song, they asked me, Faisal, what do you think is the best opener? We want something that will make a wow element to these. When I went for a show and I saw that copied at another dance recently, that's because the Wesley College, that's it, the Wesley College in at Shangri-La. And I saw Thurston having it just about a week ago. But, well, okay, you can have it. Nobody can stop them. They follow the same thing. But, I saw this lovely performance, guys coming on bikes, right? And the dance girls coming behind on the bikes, pillion riders. They come into the hall, and Shangri-La allowed it. Beautiful. They come into the hall, and then the girls get down from the bikes, and the bikes go off, and then there's a beautiful dance opener performance. And then after the performance is over, the compere just doesn't come. We discuss how we should do it, and they got various voices. My sons, my daughters, about 5 voices, and they selected the most appropriate voice to introduce me. And it was with my picture on the screen. And ladies and gentlemen, this is your host this evening. And then I came through the audience. Beautiful over. That's what you call updating and doing better. If you want to step up, even in shows, you can step it up by doing something different. I would say, I know how they can do it. But, if they can have a drone and the compere walks and comes, and then the drone can come and give you the mic, and you take the mic and then start. That is updating. I mean, I've given that idea to one of the people. They're trying to try that out. They tried to do it in the Wesley College dance, but they couldn't get a drone that will bring the mic and step and then give it to me. That would have been a beautiful opener.
What do you think about the artificial intelligence use in the industry, AI use?
That's another very good question. You have heard the AI voices, no?
Yes.
I can tell the AI voices, if they are used properly, they are very good. But the point is, the AI voices that you and I hear are very artificial. They don't sound like a human being. That's what's amazing for me. I don't know. I sometimes think they save money by doing that. All these organizers, but it lacks that natural effect. I mean, that's a very good question you asked me, because you can identify an AI voice. There's no way, unless a person who is not in the field will not know, but you can easily identify AI voice. Good, very good question.
How important is the interaction with the crowd and the audience? Because sometimes people think, okay, presenting is standing in the podium and delivering whatever written in the script. How important is it to interact with the audience and have that?
Very important. That's the most important thing. You have to interact with the audience. The rapport with the audience is number one, and you should be very natural. You should not put yourself above the audience. You have to be at the level of the audience. Then you are accepted as a good compere.
I see. I think we have to give a shout out for your son and daughter. I think they are doing a tremendous job in the industry.
Thank you very much. But remember, they have not seen the father compere at any event when they became adults, right? They've probably seen me when they were very young. I remember my son and my daughter would have been 12 and 11, and they actually compared with me then. They actually gave the introduction when I was coming. It was a suggestion by the organizers. My son was so nervous. He was really bad. But today he is number one. He is superb. My daughter was very confident. She did very well. And, that's all they see the father compere. But believe it, Shankar, if you see them compere, not because they're my children. They're superb. They have their own style. They don't imitate the father. They have their own. That's what I want. They don't imitate me at all. But my son sounds very much like me and looks very much like your cameraman.
Thank you very much. I think we have come to the end of the discussion. What would you like your legacy to be in this world?
Well, I would like to carry this legacy with a very special message. Be yourself, and that's the message I give. And most importantly, don't cut anybody. Have healthy competition. That's my only thing. Don't do what others have done to me. Be very nice to your fellow colleagues, because unhealthy competition is only going to hit you back. As is said in Buddhism, it's karma. It's going to come back on you. And it has come to all my compatriots, all my contemporaries, and they have gone to they're no more because of what they did. So my legacy is, take this forward with a good spirit and make sure that you'll all do very well so that we can sit back and watch all of you. I've already told my son and daughter, and they are carrying it forward.
Okay, with that, I think we can end the discussion. Thank you very much for joining with us, Faizal Bongso. It was a lovely discussion. And
lovely questions. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Proud of you.
Then let's meet up in another Legends interview, and let's wrap it up here.
Thank you very much.